Turning now to the southern border, the crisis in Texas gearing up to take on the next wave of migrants headed for the United States. Governor Greg Abbott releasing new footage. This of National Guard military vehicles. They're lining up in preparation to seal surge locations at the border and arrest trespassers attempting to cross America illegally.
Now, this move comes after Panama's government warned thousands of migrants, mostly from Haiti, they're headed for the U.S. through Mexico. Joining us now to discuss, Newsmax contributor Tom Borelli is here with us, as well as former Nevada State GOP chairwoman and Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian, and also presidential historian Dino Scaris. Good to see you all this Monday morning. Tom, we have seen Republican governors, they've expressed their concerns to President Biden. They're now set to hold a border crisis news conference on Wednesday in Mission, Texas. What are your expectations for this press briefing, and what resources do they really need to deal with the incoming surge of migrants?
Well, Emma, I think the first thing that you mentioned, I think, is the most important. I think Republicans really need to rally around the border and drag the media with them to really highlight this amazing public health and humanitarian crisis. We need much more attention on the border. The governors around the border really need to step up and show the American people what is happening. There was a story in the New York Times over the weekend where they mentioned how many Haitians and others are taking this dangerous trek through some part of Panama that is especially dangerous and controlled by the cartels. It is an absolute humanitarian crisis, and the media needs to really start reporting about this so the American people could vote appropriately.
Amy Tarkanian, your thoughts, because it seems as if this problem, in really a crisis rather, let's call it what it is falling on the hands of one state, of the state of Texas. And Governor Abbott's having to essentially come up with different ways to combat what's happening, to assist with the CBP down there who have their hands full.
Correct. And it's a shame, but, I applaud Governor Abbott for basically doing what the Biden administration should be doing. And it's atrocious because a girlfriend of mine, her husband actually works for DHS, and those individuals are already overworked and spread thin. And now they're having to try to fill in the gaps for Border Patrol agents, and they're not being compensated properly for going above and beyond in areas that they had no idea that they were going to be overseen at some point. And then the fact that we are not enforcing vaccinations upon these migrants is also appalling, because if we were truly in a pandemic, which at some point I do agree that we were, I've had COVID twice. I don't want it a third or fourth time. I think that Dr. Fauci and the Biden administration is doing our nation a disservice by allowing all of these migrants in without full examination and mandating vaccinations.
Well, we have the supply. It's being sent worldwide, sharing vaccines with other nations. Okay, I want to move on, though. Play this sound. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo issuing an alarming warning about the impact of the border crisis that it could have on the future of this country. Listen to this.
So this issue of securing America's borders is real. Huge amounts of drugs are seeping into our country. It's going to kill Americans. This is a humanitarian crisis and a national security crisis. Our local law enforcement, our sheriff's office are under enormous pressure because of these drugs. And kids all across America are going to die as a result of the failure of this administration to secure that border.
And Dino, he's making it seem like it's not just a crisis at the border. It could spread, of course, with drugs coming across.
Emma, it is spreading. It's been spreading for a very long time. The reason Donald Trump defeated 16 other Republicans in 2016 to win the nomination, including 5 senators and 9 governors, is because he said, if we don't have borders, we don't have a country. This is transnational trespass, and the fact that our borders are so porous is appalling. It's been going on, and actually both major parties have generally turned a blind eye to it, except for Donald Trump, who did more about it than any president in the last 100 years. But unfortunately, it's business as usual again, because neither party has a true vested interest in stopping the problem. And it's transnational trespass. It's appalling. And Mike Pompeo is absolutely right. There are far that most people can't even fathom.
Tom Borelli, 30 seconds from you on this. When you even had, as President Trump was mentioned, we can mention President Obama, who also said that this nation needs borders.
Yeah, Sean, great point. I mean, everybody knows this is a crisis except for President Biden. And you have to wonder, what is he doing? Why isn't he protecting the border? The message around the world is it is an open border. Come on in. The water's fine. And that is wrong. It's wrong for the American people.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Panelists, if you could, stand by. We've got more coming up.